CBS News Bay Area Afternoon Edition with Ann Makovec.
Well, thanks for joining us this Thursday. We are following a high-stakes hearing on the future of birthright citizenship. President Trump wants to get rid of it. The Supreme Court heard oral arguments today about his executive order and whether the administration can enforce it as the legal challenges continue to play out. The order would end the right of citizenship for children born in America to parents who are not also citizens. Here in the Bay Area, dozens are rallying and demanding to keep that right. About 30 minutes ago, a coalition of immigration advocates and community groups began marching to the Immigration and Customs Enforcement Office in San Jose, protesting the administration's immigration policies. Ahead of the march, advocates spoke about the importance of solidarity. They say immigrants in this country are under attack.
When our communities are under attack, what do? Stand up, fight back! That's right. Not one of us is safe. It's only a matter of time. Today, they might terrorize undocumented immigrants. Tomorrow, they might terrorize green card holders. They're already terrorizing green card holders. They'll come for birthright citizenship, and they'll keep coming. They'll keep chipping away because none of us are safe alone.
Demonstrators say Trump's policies are leading to trauma for immigrant families. In D.C., the main question for the justices is whether lower courts overstepped their authority by blocking the president's order on birthright citizenship for the entire country. 3 lower federal judges ruled that the order violated the 14th Amendment of the Constitution. So the judges are wrestling over whether those injunctions should have only applied in the states that sued. In their lengthy arguments, Justice Kagan posed some tough questions.
Let's just assume you're dead wrong. How do we get to that result? Does every single person that is affected by this EO have to bring their own suit? Are there alternatives? How long does it take? How do we get to the result that there is a single rule of citizenship that is the rule that we've historically applied rather than the rule that the EO would have us do?
Outside the U.S. Supreme Court, dozens of people are protesting President Trump's executive order right now. Birthright citizenship is a right that was established by the case of a San Francisco man more than 100 years ago. Wong Kim Ark was born in 1873 in San Francisco, and he was denied re-entry after a visit to China. So he sued the U.S., arguing the 14th Amendment guaranteed his citizenship, and he won. Well, we spoke with his great-grandson, who says that fight still runs in his blood more than a century later.
We need to get America on the right track where people care for each other. If we're going to live as a people, we're going to die as one people. And it's up to us.
Well, you can watch his full story coming up tonight at 5:30. Now to the other headlines we are following today. The Menendez brothers, another step closer to freedom. The LA Times reporting Governor Newsom just withdrew his request for a clemency investigation. A hearing scheduled for next month before the parole board is now going to be a chance for the brothers to be granted early release. Earlier this week, a judge resentenced Eric and Lyle Menendez to life with the possibility of parole for the 1989 murder of their parents. Their attorney arguing that the brothers are rehabilitated. Police shot and killed a man in South San Francisco. Happened on Oyster Point Boulevard just after 7 last night. Police say he was trying to break into a public restroom. Then they say when they confronted him, he ran off and pulled out what turned out to be a replica gun. People across the Bay Area are marking Bike to Wherever Day. Used to be Bike to Work Day, but now they've widened their view. The goal is to get people out of their cars and onto 2 wheels instead. We were out with bicyclists at this so-called Energizer station at Heritage Park in Palo Alto this morning. It is a big part of Union Square's recovery. Today, Nintendo celebrated the grand opening of its newest flagship store in San Francisco.
3, 2, 1.
Yeah, there he is Mario joining Mayor Daniel Lurie and other city lawmakers for that ribbon cutting. Fans have been waiting a year for today's opening. We also got an early look inside. On the first floor, fans can find exclusive toys and merch of their favorite characters in their own unique Nintendo world. You can also go downstairs and play new games and, of course, the classics like Super Mario Kart. Nintendo says it is excited to bring a unique shopping experience to Union Square.
Union Square is just one of those iconic locations that has activity that's unique to the space, and also we think the throughput and the traffic in this area is perfect for what we're trying to do.
Yeah, so the opening is a bit of good news. Could bring a possible boost to the Union Square shopping area. Just last week, Saks Fifth Avenue closed. All right, live weather right now, continuing our little warm spell across the Bay Area. Let's check in with meteorologist Jessica Birch.
All right, let's take a look at those blue skies with clear conditions as we head into this afternoon. It's another warm day for us here in the Bay Area with daytime highs this afternoon topping off in the 80s in areas like Livermore and Concord. So warmer compared to yesterday, and that's also the case up in the wine country too. It was a few days ago we were in the 60s, now we're in the upper 70s, and we are continuing to warm up in areas like Santa Rosa, stretched all the way over to Napa. Still holding on tight to some low 60s along the coast, so that temperature spread still exists between all of our microclimates. But hey, we are feeling a little bit more of a summer-like weather pattern for us as we dive into this weekend and early next week. And we're here to talk about it. So the 70s and 80s you see right now down in the Santa Clara Valley, we're continuing that trend as we head into the afternoon hours throughout our weekend forecast and all the way into next week. And there's a reason why. High pressure's parked just offshore. It's ridging its way in, keeping the storm track to the north of us, bringing in some winds from the north, though, but mostly just keeping us dry. And as we head into the next week, the next 8 to 14 days, the Climate Prediction Center is showing drier than normal conditions for us here locally. Now, I'm here to talk about why that's happening coming up in just a bit, and I'll show you a little tease ahead as we head into this weekend's forecast. But for now, back over to you.
Thanks, Jess. CBS is proud to partner with MTV for Mental Health Action Day today. It's an initiative dedicated to connecting people with mental health resources when they need them most. Even if you have insurance here in California, a therapy session can cost $200 or more. Our Veronica Macias highlights an organization that makes counseling more affordable.
Yes, this is Queer Life Space.
At Queer Life Space,
Sure.
they believe in equity and accessibility.
What we'll do is we'll ask you for some information.
The organization offers affordable mental health and substance abuse services.
We are in the business of saving young queer and trans lives. 76% of our clients are under the age of 40. More than a third of our clients are also BIPOC. We're very proud of this.
BIPOC stands for Black, Indigenous, People of Color.
So all of these rooms are therapy rooms.
The clinicians are uniquely qualified to work here.
Queer Life Space is a place where people can come get counseling services. It's queer affirming care. So it's a place where you know that when you walk in, there's a level of understanding where you're not gonna have to explain yourself of like what queerness is.
To be able to sit across from someone that they don't have to explain what it means to be Black. I just get it.
We're a clinic by queer people for queer people.
In fact, some of the counselors were once patients themselves.
Any given time of day, a lot of the doors will be closed because there are sessions happening.
Ryan McCarrigan calls this office space a pillar for the queer community in present and the future, as they offer a clinical training program for the next generation of queer affirming therapists.
So this is not just an intellectual pursuit. This is really because many of us that pursue this path, we have experienced these issues ourselves.
Services for a historically vulnerable community.
LGBTQIA+ people, in addition to suffering from much higher rates of anxiety and depression than the general population, are also 4 times as likely to engage in suicidal ideation.
Those at Queer Life Space are working to make a difference, offering services that can change lives, offering a better tomorrow.
If you are in need of help, they offer services on a sliding pay scale. One therapy session is just $30 to start, and you can help support queer mental health by attending the Queer Life Space Pride Renaissance Gala. That is coming up on May 30th, and we have a 20% discount code. It is KPIXTV VIP that you can get a discount for ticket and table sales. Again, today is Mental Health Action Day, so join CBS News Bay Area and MTV by taking action for your friends with what's known as ASK. That is, acknowledge, support, and keep in touch with your friends. They need you as much as you need them, so you can learn how to ask at mentalhealthishealth.us. And if you or someone you know is struggling with suicidal thoughts, or you just need someone to talk to, you can call or text the National Suicide and Crisis Lifeline at 988. They're available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Still ahead here at noon and streaming on CBS News Bay Area, a change in your drinking water, why the federal government is rolling back limits on those forever chemicals. And you know that Energy Star label on some appliances? It's supposed to save you money, why the program could be on the chopping block. The Environmental Protection Agency says it is rolling back limits on some of the forever chemicals in our drinking water. Those are the human-made chemicals used in household products. They've been found in more than 2,700 water systems across the country, affecting 158 million Americans. The Biden administration established limits on those chemicals, which have been linked to serious illnesses like heart disease, cancers, hormonal disruptions, and abnormal development of babies and children.
Chemicals. And it's not just in our drinking water, by the way. It's also in the soil. They found it in rainwater. And it's estimated that some 30,000 industrial polluters are putting out PFAS chemicals into the environment in this country.
The EPA says that limits will stay in place for the two most common chemical types, but it's rolling back the rules on the others to give water systems more flexibility. As the federal government looks to cut spending, the latest program on the chopping block is the popular Energy Star program. As Nancy Chen explains, the EPA-run program saves qualifying American households hundreds of dollars every year.
With all the cuts the Trump administration is making to government agencies, the EPA is now proposing to end the Energy Star program. So even if you don't know the program, you've likely seen that Energy Star label on refrigerators, air conditioners, washing machines, even buildings. So here's how the program works. Companies can enroll, and if their product meets EPA efficiency standards, they can display the logo. It's an easy way for buyers to know they're going to save money on energy costs. And they have saved. Since it launched more than 3 decades ago, Energy Star has helped Americans cut back on 5 trillion kilowatt hours of energy. That is the equivalent of powering New York City for 100 years, a whole century. It also saves the average household about $450 every year. The program has had widespread bipartisan support and calls itself one of the most successful voluntary U.S. government programs in history. President Trump tried to kill this program in his first term, but that effort failed after more than 1,000 companies protested. Similarly, this time, hundreds of companies like Samsung and National Grid have signed a letter in support of Energy Star. It's unclear whether the program, though, can be ended without a new act from Congress.
And customers can still look for the Energy Guide. That is a yellow sticker that compares energy cost and consumption on appliances like dishwashers, freezers, and water heaters. But it's not as comprehensive as Energy Star, and it's not a certification. All right, back to our first alert weather. No controversy there. This is the view from Mount Diablo looking at the East Bay. Let's check back in with meteorologist Jessica Birch.
And very rarely is it ever controversial. I feel like we have the best forecast in the whole country right now. And as we head into this afternoon, I can confirm that because we're gearing up for 80s off into our inland spots, 70s in areas like Fremont and Redwood City. We're gearing up for 70s and 80s into the Santa Clara Valley. So nice warm day all throughout our inland areas with a lot cooler and breezier conditions still along the coast too. Now, heading into the next couple days, we're going to continue to see a gradual warming pattern with the exception of Saturday. And heading into next week, sunnier skies are expected for us with not a drop of rain in sight. And there's a reason why. High pressure's been rolling in from offshore. It's still staying west of the coastline. However, what that's doing for us is it's bringing in winds from the north. We'll continue to see partly cloudy skies into the next couple days. And then we're going to start to warm up a lot into next week. We're going to continue to see winds gusting up to around 30 miles per hour at times into San Francisco and Bodega Bay, all the way off into our inland areas into the evening hours tonight. But it's still a dry, beautiful day nonetheless. Now, that's going to be the case for us as we head into this weekend and early next week. So let's take a quick look at the next 7 days, starting off with the Bay. So places closer to San Francisco, Daly City, Oakland, Berkeley, we're all kind of flirting back and forth right now with 70s and 60s in the forecast for us. That's for our friends who are closer to the Bay shoreline. You make your way over into our inland spots. Now we're talking about the East Bay, the Santa Clara Valley. If you live up in wine country, we're in for a treat this weekend. I mean, okay, Saturday's going to be a little bit cool still. That's where we're going to see that temperature drop down into the 70s. And then we have a huge warm up as high pressure continues to move its way closer to the California coastline. That's going to warm us up into the upper 80s, potentially some 90s in the forecast throughout mid next week. So a beautiful weekend ahead of us. A little bit cooler on Saturday, nice and warm and sunny on Sunday, and then beautiful conditions into next week. Back to you.
Well, coming up, giving students access to mental health resources, how a Bay Area program is bringing therapists to them. You can expect higher prices at Walmart as soon as this month. Retail giant warning it is not immune from President Trump's tariffs, and it does plan to raise prices on some items. Walmart's CEO says the scope of the tariffs won't allow the company to absorb all of the effects. He says they will work their best to keep prices as low as possible. Today, we are marking Mental Health Action Day, and it's often tough for adults to know exactly what's going on in children's minds. There is a group helping families in the San Francisco Unified School District connect with each other. Access Institute provides mental health resources for students and does school visits. Therapists work on campuses with kids who are facing situations like divorce, homelessness, the death of a parent, domestic violence, or life-threatening illnesses. This gives more flexibility to families who may not be able to get to a clinic. Again, today is Mental Health Action Day. So join CBS News Bay Area and MTV by taking action for your friends with ASK. That is acknowledge, support, and keep in touch. You can learn how to ask at mentalhealthishealth.us. We'll be right back. The Golden State Valkyries flag is now flying high at Oakland City Hall. Fans and local leaders showed their support at a flag ceremony. Some got to shoot hoops and take home a custom Valkyries rally towel. Their season opener for the Bay Area's brand new WNBA team. Coming at Chase Center tomorrow, and CBS News Bay Area is your home for the Valkyries. More than 30 games airing on KPIX and our sister station Pix Plus. We're also going to have a weekly show with behind-the-scenes access. And you can enter for a chance to win 2 tickets to the Valkyries Mystics game next Wednesday night at Chase Center. Go to kpix.com/contests and enter the code word BALLHALLA. I'm going to spell that out for you. It's BALLHALLA. That is the code word, and you can enter each day multiple times until Monday at 11 p.m. That is going to do it for the afternoon edition this Thursday. Remember, we are streaming 24/7 on the free CBS News app. Just go to Live and then choose Bay Area.